Hey everyone, Chloe here, and welcome back to this feminine platform and welcome back to this channel. And if you are new here, ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers, welcome. So, I wanted to have a much needed conversation about a TikTok clip that went viral all over social media and was sent to me by many members of the Hive and the New Feminine when a woman by the name of Mayate Lisbeth basically described her overwhelming pain from not having been physically touched in 5 years. That obviously speaks to the larger issue of women who aren't feeling seen or women who don't have intimacy or romantic love in their lives. And this clip pretty much speaks to how painful it can be when a woman's feminine divine is not being poured into or nurtured. And this clip also speaks to the ever growing epidemic of loneliness. And yes, I understand that many women like to act all tough and they like to act all unbothered. And many women will wear a pretend mask of being okay with not being touched and not being loved on, when in reality, loneliness in many ways is considered to be an invisible illness. And invisible illnesses are real and they are very painful. Just do a Google search on invisible illnesses because a person does not have to be maimed or murked or dripping in blood to be in a great deal of pain. So I definitely applaud this woman's courage and, more importantly, her raw vulnerability in admitting that her lack of not being touched has sent her to a dark place. But for those of you who haven't heard the clip, please give it a listen.
Really struggling with something and I want to talk about it. But before I do, I need people, if you are a parent who was like touched out by your children, I do not want to see you in the comments. If you are someone with any kind of neurodivergency and it manifests or shows up as you not liking touch or people touching you, I do not want to see you in the comments. Okay? But I feel like I'm dying from like touch starvation, y'all. I don't get hugs. I don't know. I feel like if I were to get the kind of hug that I fucking really want, I would crumble into pieces. I I don't, how do you deal with that? I really like need to be like touched. And I know someone's gonna say like, okay, go to the salon and get your hair done, or get a massage, or get your nails done, right? So someone can hold your hand. None of those people love me. None of those services love me, right? But I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling with like, I don't get hugs. That shit is. It could be like maybe a hello, whatever, maybe. But it's not enough. I don't know how. I don't know how you. How am I gonna go the rest of my life like this? I think that that's really hard. I don't. There's no. I'm just really struggling. I'm really struggling. Like I spent like last night just going like this. Like 20 minutes. I yeah, I'm just, if anyone else is struggling, what are you doing?
Now, I won't even repeat or highlight the nasty responses or the nasty reactions from the unstable loonies of the internet because we all know that social media can be an angry, a grouchy, an unhappy, and a very unsympathetic place that has only encouraged people to enjoy punching down and to enjoy the bandwagoner sport of cruelty even more. But human beings, and the feminine divine in particular, have always needed the power of touch and affection and intimacy. So, ladies, if you have someone to love on you and to pour into you, consider it to be a huge blessing. Now, social media can be a last minute resort as a cry for help, but the connection itself can be both surface and superficial and could never replicate the human need to feel seen, to be heard, and to be appreciated in real life. YouTube and social media, as much as I love it, are not real life. And in many cases, people tend to compare themselves and their lives to the highly edited highlight reel of others without even considering that many people behind the facade and the wigs and the makeup are giving a performance. Ladies, physical touch is one of the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman for a reason, as human beings are wired for affection and are wired for someone to care. And I wouldn't wish this kind of raw emotional pain on my worst enemy. And with Black women and women of color in particular, many, not all, and yes, some feathers will be ruffled, but you can go argue with your gas station wig. But many Black women are sadly more comfortable in expressing the volatile, non solution oriented emotions of outrage and anger and their frustrations and their bitterness than they are in expressing the emotionally intelligent feelings that should be expressed. And yes, I understand that it can be very hard, very difficult to say, I'm lonely, or I'm depressed, or I'm anxious, or I'm sad, or I'm hurt, or I'm in pain, or I'm worried about the future, or I've been let down, or it can really be hard to acknowledge when we don't come from loving and supportive families. But in many cases, self-honesty is exactly what a woman will need to do to get to the root of some healing. Sadly, there are millions of both men and women around the world who will instead choose to self-medicate, or they will choose to numb themselves out just to feel alive and just to get by. And it doesn't help at all when there are both femcel and manosphere leaders who don't encourage their followers to get therapy or to go and touch some grass. Instead, they tend to fuel the fires of loneliness by choosing to throw gasoline on it. Loneliness and not having your human needs met has been an epidemic for some time, but post-pandemic numbers have made loneliness quite staggering. But the feminine divine will always need the soft landing place of love, and hopefully Mayate's raw truth can help others who are feeling the exact same way and can help to possibly open up some doors for her that she believed were once closed. Now, of course, a video would not be a Chloe video without some offline solutions to help raise your frequency as it pertains to loneliness. And of course, one of the best cures for loneliness is to get a Fido or a cat. You can volunteer to help those who are less fortunate than yourself, which can help a great deal. I highly recommend that women do volunteer work at a domestic violence shelter. I've done it myself, and it is very rewarding. You can exercise to increase those feel-good hormones called endorphins. You can buy a weighted blanket. You can get a massage. You can go to an open-minded Black church, keyword open-minded. They give the best hugs. And of course, a woman should always make her mental health a priority by giving herself a much-needed self-esteem makeover and by making daily feminine wellness a priority. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. Loneliness is an epidemic, which is why choosing your circle and your circle of influence matters. And is also why being a part of a healthy community is now more important than ever, because what we allow to seep in our minds and our hearts can either help us to evolve or help us to expire. So ladies and lurkers, to get this conversation started, can you relate to this woman's pain? And what are the types of things that you have done to get yourself out of a negative headspace? And as always, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. And please stay tuned for more videos to come. And I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers in the next one.